Welcome back once again. With us for more details over the Iranian-Israeli-American crisis is His Excellency Ambassador Hussein Haridy, former Assistant Foreign Minister. Good morning, Ambassador Haridy.
Good morning, madam.
U.S. President Donald Trump said talks with Iran may begin next week, yet he downplayed the need for an actual agreement. So how do you assess the significance of Trump's statements?
Well, of course, the United States has always been working or hoping to reach a new nuclear agreement with Iran. And in fact, the American attacks on some Iranian facilities last week were some kind of exerting the utmost pressures on the Iranian government to accept any draft that the Americans would offer Iran as far as the future of their nuclear program is concerned. But anyhow, right now we are in an uncertain situation in the Middle East, whether we are speaking about American-Iranian relations or Israeli-Iranian relations, and what are the intentions of Israel as far as Iran is concerned. We know that the Israeli Prime Minister is on record saying that Israel would keep attacking the Iranian nuclear facilities whenever Iran advances in developing its nuclear program once again. So generally speaking, the situation is highly uncertain, and I doubt very much if we can draw definite conclusions from the statements of one side or the other, whether on the part of the American side or the Iranians. We understand that the Iranians have promised to resume their nuclear program, and the Iranian parliament approved a legislation that Iran should stop cooperating with the EIA, the International Agency for Nuclear Energy. So, as I said, I personally believe that it's a very uncertain, and the near future could bring some surprises, as a matter of fact.
That's very much true, but what you kindly mentioned would take us to another point, which is we are now observing three sides, or probably two sides, because the U.S. and Israeli side is considered as one side. We have a side, we have Iranian Supreme Leader Ayatollah Ali Khomeini appearing in his first appearance after the Israeli-Iranian military confrontation, saying that the U.S. President Donald Trump's claims that he totally eradicated the Iranian nuclear facilities and all that was a full exaggeration on the U.S. administration's part, and that is completely untrue, and that the nuclear facilities was not affected significantly. There is no damage, significant damage affected. At the same time, political observers, talking about the situation, you could see that there is still real damage was done to infrastructure in Israel in some of the most elite places in Tel Aviv and other places in the occupied Palestinian city. And also, there are significant facts on both sides which might help us predict that some facts without waiting for reality.
Well, definitely there were damages to the Iranian nuclear facilities. And on the other hand, some key military commanders,
'Commanders' 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 'commanders'
So there are certain facts on the ground that are undeniable. Whether these facts amount to the complete destruction of the Iranian nuclear program remains to be seen. Of course, we understand that whether we are speaking about the Americans, the Israelis, or the Iranians, it's understandable that each side would claim that he is the party that whether succeeded in withstanding the attacks, or the party or the two parties who have successfully demolished, or as President Trump said, obliterated the Iranian nuclear facilities. But personally speaking, I guess it's too early. It's too early in the game to have an accurate picture of the damages on the Iranian nuclear facilities, and as well on the future of relations between the United States and Iran, and how, on the other hand, Israel would conduct its relations with Iran in the context of any developments, whether positive or negative developments, in the framework of the relations between the United States and Iran. So, in conclusion, I guess we should err on the side of caution in talking about the general situation, whether we are speaking about the general situation in the Middle East or any specifics concerning the Iranian nuclear program.
Right. The reason so many people are so concerned about this particular military confrontation or the crisis, especially the Iranian-Israeli crisis, is that because this type of a crisis is not, concerning or involving only two parts. It's involving a whole region. It is exhausting the powers of other countries other than Israel and the Iranian side. I mean, any further military confrontation between both sides is going to affect a lot of damage to neighboring countries. It's going to, exhaust even the powers of Israel and the United States. I mean, talking that there's a lot of, financial expenses that could be involved. The United States itself might not be ready to be able to pay for it from the pockets of the American taxpayers. Also, on the side of the Iranian part, there could be some exhaustion of their powers, of their a lot years back and years of work on nuclear facilities and everything. Add to that the Arab countries and the neighboring countries. So what could be the best assessment for a future? Do you think that an international community or a group of world leaders could be involved, taking a stance, some kind of a gathering, unified stance to be able to negotiate this crisis?
Well, it all depends on how you look. It all depends on the context in which you analyze what has transpired in the Middle East since June 13th, and whether what we have witnessed during this period, or what President Trump has called the 12-day war, whether this is unrelated to the Israeli aggression against Gaza since October 8, 2023. It all depends on where you stand on this issue. But I personally don't believe that, or I personally believe that the side that really has paid the price for what we have witnessed in the Middle East in the last 20 days is the Palestinian people. Palestinian people in Gaza and in the West Bank. And speaking about the Palestinians and the Palestinian cause itself, this is the true, really, the party that has become a victim of all the regional developments that we have been witnessing during the last 21 or 22 months. And this should be this is my personal point of view. From an Egyptian standpoint, this should be our main concern.
Right.
This triangle between the United States, Israel, and Iran has been with us since 1979, generally, and more specifically since the Israeli Prime Minister came to power in 1996.
Right.
And this triangle will remain with us, and will remain with us. Concerning that other parties in the Middle East are quoting your good self exhausted, I'm not sure. I guess we have to be very cautious in analyzing the positions of other parties in the Middle East concerning whether the American attacks or the Israeli attacks on Iran.
Right.
So the situation is very, I would say, I would use the word murky. So we shouldn't jump to conclusions.
Right.
We should proceed. We should follow developments from distance, and we should not get entangled in any confrontations that could happen in the Middle East in the foreseeable future.
Okay, hopefully. Of course, Ambassador Hussein Haridy, former Assistant Foreign Minister, would like to thank you, sir.
Thank you very much.
It's a real pleasure having you this morning. Thank you so much. And I guess by this we came to the end of this edition of The Breakfast Show. Many thanks to all of you. Until we see you again tomorrow morning, that's a goodbye.